Cheeseheads, we did it! We're in the knockout stages! Come on! God, after that first half, I was not confident.
This is just what we do, right? Like, I am convinced that we are told to conserve energy in the first half because we're playing so many games, and it's difficult. We don't have the squad that Conte wants. So we basically decided first half we're going to conserve energy. We're going to try and stop them scoring, and second half we're going to go for it because that's the only logic to any of this, really. But what a goal! I was happy with second. I wasn't complaining with second. But what a fucking goal. Yes.
I'll tell you what. And what's better is that a Gooner hocked it up. Kolasinac had such a good chance. And he effed it up, didn't he, at the end? That just makes it even better. Because those Gooners would have been all over us in that case. But they're still in the Europa League and we're in the Champions League. So happy days. What do you think, Jay?
Oh, fuck me. I haven't even processed it yet. At the end, their manager's on the bloody pitch, and then Kane's running forward. I'm thinking, hang on, the ref's going to blow the whistle there. And then no, it goes to Hojbjerg, and I think surely he blows the whistle, and it goes in. And I'm thinking, no way, this stands. Oh, it has standed. Okay, yeah, we win the group. We're not just through; we won the group as well, which means we get a favourable draw.
I watch it on the BT app on my phone, on my TV. Because I got my dad's login. And one of the beauties is it's about 30 seconds behind. So I already knew we'd scored. Which is a bit crap in one sense, but when it's that sort of win, it's brilliant. So I just was ready for it. The only downside is you are waiting for VAR to screw it, aren't you, every time?
Yeah, I turn everything else off. I turn Twitter off, I turn WhatsApp off. I want to watch it. The amount of times I've been chatting to people and then someone's like, go, and I'm like, oh, because it ruins it. It absolutely ruins it. It's like the opposite end of the VAR spectrum where you find out before it happens that it's going to be a goal. No, you've got to watch it as if it's live, as if you're there in the stadium. I'm genuinely pumped because we've not done particularly well in this group stage. We've done it as with the least effort possible. Can I say that? Because the two goals in Sporting, that robbed us of a hard-earned, but we didn't really run point. Kerry's right. Only Spurs. 1-1, you thought, Marseille are going to get a chance. We had those half chances. I thought Kane was going to bury it, and he didn't. Hojbjerg hits the bar, and you're thinking, I've seen this before, right? Like the other team's going to go down the end and score. And as you said, when Kolasinac had that header, it is more difficult to miss. Right, all he has to do is get his head onto it, and if it's not at Lloris, it's going in. And thankfully, he tried to get so much power into it that it went wide, and he kind of lost control. But watching Spurs is going to be like this. I hope that in January, or when the World Cup's ended, or whenever, that we start to play maybe one game a week. If that's ever going to happen this season, I don't know, but I hope that we're able to kind of take stock and then play a full 90 minutes because. As I said, I can't believe we don't do this deliberately. It makes more sense to me that it's deliberate than for us to do the same thing game in, game out.
Your friend Rainer's got this right. Now the group looks legit. And Frankfurt are through, HG, so you've had a double bubble, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm over the moon. My two teams I wanted to go through, both away from home, needed victory. Frankfurt needed to win. We're both down at half time. I'm thrilled because when Frankfurt, they don't care who they get. It's just an adventure for them, right? They'll be thrilled to get Man City. They'll be thrilled to get Barcelona. Oh, we can't get Barcelona. Real Madrid. They'd love to go to Real Madrid. But for Spurs, tell us the teams that we could play if it stays the same right now, John?
Well, I'm hoping this won't be too judgy. I'll scroll through the groups. I'll go to the top. So we can't get Liverpool in Group A. We can get them in the next round afterwards, can't we?
But we could get. Did Liverpool beat Napoli tonight?
Yes. Liverpool finished second.
Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, good.
Can't get Liverpool. Group B, we could get Bruges.
I'd take that.
Should be, in Bruges.
It's a lovely city. Exactly. Spurs in purgatory, right?
Yeah. Inter, obviously.
It's been nailed there before. On. That's got to be nailed on.
That's Conte. It's Conte, isn't it? All over. Frankfurt, obviously, we can't play. Milan again.
Milan or
Been there before.
Salzburg. Come on, Salzburg.
Oh, of course,
Yes,
that's playing tomorrow.
please.
Completely forgot.
Yeah, those games are
Oh,
tomorrow.
yes.
But I mean, it's unlikely because I think Salzburg have to play Chelsea at home. But still, that would be nice.
Let's have a look.
Yeah. Oh no, they did that. Oh, they're going to
Away
Milan.
at Milan. Oh, so it's a playoff. That'll be
Yeah.
a good one.
Okay, nice.
Okay. Group F. So pretty much it's going to be Leipzig, isn't it? I'd
I
imagine.
think Leipzig have to go to Donetsk in the last game.
Oh, so it could be down to a head-to-head, couldn't it?
It could be
So
there, and I think.
Yeah, they were away at Donetsk, and the home game.
And Donetsk won in Leipzig, I think.
Oh,
yeah,
they did. Oh, so if Donetsk win tomorrow, just 1-0, they're through.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a big game too. I mean, I'd be happy with Leipzig. I mean, I know we've been there before, but that game doesn't really count because of COVID and everything.
Oh, well, yeah, apart from anything, we had no players, did we?
Yeah,
Dele up front with Lucas. Obviously, Dortmund's, I imagine, will finish. Who Dortmund got? Are they playing at Sevilla?
No.
Dortmund away at Copenhagen. And,
okay, so you'd imagine Dortmund.
Man City will play a reserve team, but they should still beat Sevilla.
Yeah, quite.
Unless Eric Lamela comes up, with a magical hat trick.
Why would Sevilla play their reserve side? I don't get it.
Man City will play reserve side.
Yeah, but if Lamela's playing,
with Lamela, sorry, yeah, I'm tired. It's been long. Benfica or PSG? Obviously not Juve. The Giants, right? The old lady's out.
I don't want Benfica or PSG. That would be the one to avoid.
I mean, there's nothing in that.
No.
You can see if PSG play a reserve team or not.
That's the group. That's the group I don't want because Benfica are pretty good. I mean, they obviously Juventus aren't great, but Benfica have won almost every game I think in Portugal. They're actually quite good, so I don't want that group. But yeah, if Salzburg managed to fluke a result in Milan, but everything screams Inter. Like that book has been written too many times where you see managers go back to their old team. It would be amazing. I'm genuinely absolutely pumped at whatever's coming in February, whenever the games are. It's great.
Yeah, I guess the draw will the draw be Friday? It normally is the Friday after the round, isn't it?
You'd imagine so because the World Cup's coming, so they may as well do it before then. I don't know when it is exactly, but yeah, it should be soon. They've got no reason to wait.
Oh, Monday,
okay.
Monday the 7th.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll watch that at work.
So, and then we can talk about it on the show on Monday night, can't we?
Oh my gosh!
Lots of After our win against Liverpool.
Yes, exactly.
Easy 3 points
with
no strikers, apparently.
Seriously. I don't think Son's going to play again before the World Cup.
Well, I said from what one of our friends has sent us, HG, it sounds like he might be out for a few months, so we'll miss the World Cup.
Oh, what? Is it that bad?
We've had yeah. What was the message? The suggestion was he's possibly broken the optical. Let me find it.
So he can't see really properly. Bad. Oh my gosh!
God, where was it?
Oh shit!
So what starting lineup? Oh, here we go. This has been a tweet from Prem Inside. First report suggesting Son's injury is an orbital fracture, potentially facing months out.
Wow.
I mean, he did look quite swollen, didn't he? Here, so there's a possibility. Obviously, that is just Prem Inside is just a Twitter account that does a lot of rumors, so we've no idea if it's true or not.
Wow. Yeah, actually, team news. I never want to see Sessegnon play for Spurs. Sorry, especially at right wing back. He's hopeless. The guy is so nervous that he's worried about what happened yesterday. He's not even thinking about the present. He's just nervous. Like right wing back is not his position. I understand that, but he wasn't a great deal better on the left. He was better, but we can't keep continuing. Like whenever Destiny can come over to Spurs, he has to come as soon as possible. If we can,
you are my destiny.
Seriously,
sorry.
I want to be singing. I want to be singing that. I want to be singing that as soon as possible. I'm sorry, Ryan. I know you're really trying. I get it. I want you to succeed, but you're not good for my health, my friend. Right? Yeah. I get nervous watching you.
So he's the perfect Spurs player, HG.
No. Yeah, the traditional maybe, yes, but I don't want that.
I'm going to give you some credit, HG. At halftime, you did say we're actually going to be improved by Emerson. And Kerry's asking, we give us credit. I thought he played quite well.
He did.
Thought he made a difference. Gave us a different dimension, didn't he?
There was like, he got a bit lackadaisical towards the end, and he didn't clear it when he could have, and they almost got in. But we were better with Emerson there, and again, that shouldn't be a surprise because he is better playing there than either Perisic or Sessegnon. I understand why you do it, but if you're not attacking high up the pitch, which we didn't really, we did it for maybe 20 minutes. That was about it. You're just asking for trouble. So when Emerson came on, he looks a bit more comfortable. And Emerson without Sanchez, you're halving the damage. He had Dyer behind him. I think I saw maybe within the first 2 or 3 minutes of him coming on, Dyer was telling him, move up. I've got it. You move up. I'm okay. And he needs that because he's still young. But Emerson was not bad tonight by any means. That was a solid performance.
I think given the amount of grief he's had on social media, and we've obviously been very critical of him, and as of all the pods, I imagine, I think fair play to him to come out tonight and perform the way he did. It was very good. James, what do you think of Emerson?
I thought he actually had a positive contribution. I mean, I saw some people saying, why are you bringing on bloody Emerson? But, I thought going forward, he had some positive moments. He had a couple through balls that were pretty decent. He had a couple forward passes. There was one where he played it in behind to, I think it was Bentaker, who crossed it to Kane, and the keeper came out, Lopez came out and just snatched it away. That was a good pass. It wasn't spectacular, but Sessegnon wasn't really offering anything. I think in the first half, every single player was completely bloody anonymous for us. And yeah, I mean, I thought he was better in that position, right? So I'll give him that. Yeah, he didn't do anything egregious. He played well, I'll say, actually. Rare Emerson phrase from me.
Like we had, earlier this morning, I posted something on my HG Facebook page about the teams that I wanted to see tonight. And I was the only one who picked Royal. And I know that he's not the best player, but we've spoken many of times on these shows and on podcasts where in the big games, you'd play him because he gives you a bit more defensive solidity. I don't want to see Doherty in the back in his own kind of corner quadrant, hoofing the ball forward because that's not his game either. So this is the biggest game we've had this season. Like you could talk about Arsenal. Yes, it was obviously important. The Man United game is important, but this was our future in the Champions League. This is like we want to be at the top table, and so hopefully, I would have loved to have played really well tonight and come through as if to say like we belong at this level. And there are going to be lots of people who say that we were lucky, and lots of people. Those questions will still be asked. But Emerson is a decent player. Like, I want him replaced. Of course I do, right? I think there are better right wing backs out there. I suspect the guy who was playing for Marseille tonight is a better right wing back than Royal is. Yet, you've got to pick the right team for the right occasion. I just thought tonight it was ready for him. But against Liverpool on Sunday, it's probably the same. I think that's a game for him too, because I don't know. He's not as bad as people say. He's not what we want and he's not what we need, but he's not that bad.
Has there been an explosion in were those fireworks in Marseille going off there, James?
Yeah. Yeah. Kane nicked a few back and he sent off in Portsmouth.
Did you see the footage of the coach driving down the road with those red flares everywhere?
Yeah.
I mean, how if that happened in this country, you wait for would ban us.
No,
I swear
I love it. Like I think that's proper football. That should be how it kind of always is. Don't attack the buses. Don't put bombs on the buses like what happened to Dortmund 10 years ago, right? But make it intimidating for them. Like I don't know why. Like I know that in England everything's a bit more like. What's the word I'm looking for? Like just subtle or like we don't. Yeah, well, we don't get involved in those things because it's not very British. Let's put it like that. It's really not very British to make it difficult like that. But I wish we'd do it because apparently Marseille did it for the other group games. It wasn't just for tonight. That they try and make it a hostile place to go, and why can't we do that? It doesn't mean you have to throw bricks. It doesn't mean you have to punch people and it's not about the fan experience. It's for the team. You want to make it so they don't want to play, that they find it difficult to play, that they can't hear themselves think. That's what every home ground should be like.
Yeah, James Bentancur, I thought very quiet first half, but second half he just became a man possessed, didn't he?
Yeah, like I said, first half, not a good performer out of the 11 really. Second half he played spectacularly. Again, I don't know what our players are taking at half time. I mean, it reminds me when you go to a club, and the first couple hours you're conserving your energy, right? And you just really go for it after midnight sort of thing. Bit like that. I don't know. It's weird, right? But yeah, second half, Bentancur played brilliantly. Always trying to get forward, make things happen. Had a few crosses into the box, dangerous areas. He was probably more effective going forward than Lucas was, and he was playing in bloody midfield. Yeah,
it's interesting. Like when he was at Juventus, I only ever saw him play as a defensive midfielder. And we've seen in the last few games that he's very mobile and he can pick a pass. Like when he went down the right wing in that second half and almost found Kane, you think he's not a bad player. Like he's not an Eriksen kind of player, but he's not bad. He's comfortable playing further up the pitch. And I'm genuinely falling in love with him. Like I have a massive man crush on Bentancur. Like the only player I have ever considered wanting on the back of my Spurs shirt is Eric Dyer, because I've loved Dyer for 8 years now. But Bentancur, he runs around like Hoddle. Everything is super easy for him. Yes, he makes mistakes, and he's nowhere near as good as Hoddle, but he just has that charisma. Like when he's on the ball, he can nutmeg a couple of players, and it's like a day in the park for him. I genuinely love him. And when we took him off, I was nervous. I know Skip is more defensive. Wow. I know he has fresh legs, but when Bentancur went off, I worried. I absolutely worried.
We do seem to be running out of attacking options. Phil's made a really good point. Bentancur will be a huge miss on Sunday. I did think Bissouma second half again stepped up and gave us options, but in a more holding role, didn't he? But he was the one breaking the lines, Bentancur. And it does, if, we need Richarlison or Kulusevski. One of them's going to have to probably play on Sunday, at least for half an hour, aren't they?
I suspect it will be, if Son's out and Bentancur was injured, that's why he was taken off. I don't know, because the German commentators are awful. They told me after Jose was manager, it was Andre Villas-Boas. I mean, they don't know what they're talking about. But I suspect it will be Kane and Lucas up top, right? And that will be the two. Yeah. And if Bentancur can't play, then he can't play. But he is the one midfielder who is comfortable running in almost any direction with the ball. Hojbjerg can make runs forward and can get back, but Bentancur can go left, he can go right. He just looks comfortable on the ball wherever he is, and those players are worth their weight in gold.
Yeah, I mean, your mum has put a very nice comment here. Longley was into about the first half tactics, and his response was weird and shocking, saying the team didn't know how they should play. Now, we do see this when teams need to go and get a draw. We've seen this over the years. Sometimes they do struggle to know how to play the game. It's just one of the things.
It's mental. Like I understand that most footballers will do what they're told because that's they want to play and that's how they play games, right? It's not a case where 11 people get together and say the manager's tactics aren't working. Let's try something else. Like that would never fly. But even though sometimes it probably should, that's not going to happen. But that's just. I mean, if the team didn't know how they should play, I can't believe that. Like they'd have had meetings at the hotel, like they'd have known what to do. Because the thing is, as soon as we conceded, even in the 4 or 5 minutes before half time, after the goal, we changed how we played. We went forward. Kane had the shot from distance that went over the top. Like we were completely different. So we do know what to do. It seems like a very consistent lie designed to maybe put people off the scent because that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah. So Ben Cantab was asking if Benty's injured. We don't know. He went off. He may be fine. We quite often see players go off with little niggles. I mean, Hojbjerg went down after when he got his booking, trying to obviously get away with the booking. And 2 minutes later, hits an absolute worldie, didn't he?
What a goal!
Let's talk about that.
Someone else, James. Oh, you want me?
James, go on, mate. Go on, James. You speak. Talk about Hojbjerg's goal.
Hojbjerg. Okay. Is he the Danish Johan Cruyff? A question philosophers ponder on a daily basis. I say yes. What
Have you been
strike?
drinking again?
What strike? This ain't grape
Of
juice.
course you have.
Well, it is, but you know what I mean. This is my pre-drinks. Chill out. He had that shot a couple minutes before that just went over the bar where Lucas teed it off for him, and I thought then, that was the chance. Much like in the Bournemouth game, he had that chance that just went over the bar, before Bentancur scored the win. I thought, that's the chance to win it gone. Just brilliant strike. Reminiscent a little bit of, do you remember when we beat Real Madrid 3-1 at Wembley? A little bit reminiscent of the Delhi shot from outside the box. Obviously, that was deflected and this wasn't. But, perfect shot. Came in off the post. Couldn't have been any more in the corner than that, Oh,
it totally adds to it as well, doesn't it? Like when the ball goes in off the post, you're like, yes. Like if it doesn't hit the post and just goes in, you're like, oh, that was nice. But when it goes in off the post, it adds about 60% to the memory of that goal.
You hear the sound; it's satisfying.
Yeah, and the thing is, he doesn't have to make the run. That's the funny thing. Like at this point, the time is up. We know we're through. We're probably thinking the other game's finished, so we know we're through. Second in the group, not ideal, but okay. And he decides he's going to run forward. He doesn't have to do it. Like I think Kane was kind of like, well, okay, if you're going to run, I'll give you the ball. But I don't think he necessarily was planning on it. But you have no idea where it's going to go. But to hit a shot like that, and how many goals has he got now this season? Is that 4, 5? I mean, he keeps on coming. You got one at Everton. You got against Everton. You got one at Chelsea. And he's scoring goals pretty regularly.
Got one against Leicester. I think he's on 4 and Bentancur's on 3. So they got 7. We discussed, didn't we, a couple of months ago, how many each department would score, and obviously we hoped their wing backs would give us quite a few goals, which hasn't really happened yet. But certainly we didn't expect a lot between those two, did we? The central midfield part.
Yeah, that own goals fella has dropped off a cliff for us this season. Shambolic performance. Yeah, I know. What's happened with that? We need to show dedicated to talking about where this own goals fella's gone. Why do we sell him?
Yeah, I think
Annual leave, he wouldn't pay the money.
Oh, tragic. Don't tell Dave though. He'll be angry.
Put it into Dave's cinema.
Is this 3 games in a row where we've scored in the last minute? I mean, I know the one against Sporting was discounted, right? That's not the wrong word. Disallowed, right? But we did it today. We did it at Bournemouth. And again, I think I saw a stat after the Bournemouth game that we've done it 4 different away games since Conte took over, twice as many as anybody else. And we've done it again tonight. Yeah, taking. I'd rather we didn't wait. I will say that, but it's brilliant.
Can I just say, what was the score I predicted last night on the show? 2-1.
Did you say 2-1 to Spurs? I guess you must have done. Congratulations, James.
Wizard James over here.
Wizard
Perfect
James.
predictions.
See, normally HG's a 2-1 of home man, but
yeah, I think I said 0-0.
Yeah,
I just thought it was going to be one of those annoying evenings, and it was for 45 minutes. Let's be honest.
Ooh.
First 45 minutes, we just thought, "What am I doing?"
We were lucky to get 0 first half, weren't we? We were terrible, and we were inviting pressure. I know Hugo didn't have to make a lot of saves. He did make a couple of really good saves, but the goal was always going to come, and the fact it came from a set piece is so frustrating because we switched off because we were more worried that it shouldn't have been a corner, even though it came off Bissouma. It was a corner. It was the right decision, to be fair. And I thought generally the ref did it right. He let the game flow. He didn't give silly, niggly free kicks, which was a good thing ultimately. Although I did laugh when Emerson went down like he was shot when the guy shoulder barged him. That was brilliant.
It's like, I got hit in the face. And no, you didn't. No, you didn't.
I'm just going to put up a picture. Going to go old school with a photograph. I don't know if you got this picture on your feed, HG, but Conte was talking to the guy on the left-hand side, and the Tottenham physio was talking. There was a shot of the Tottenham physio talking to Mason for a while.
Yeah.
And he had an earpiece in, and there was clearly instructions going up and down.
Well, I mean, it's funny because I think the guy in the middle with the bald head is the UEFA
That's
official.
Steinson.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's one of ours. Okay. Because they talked about it being UEFA official on our feed, but yeah, I mean, it made sense.
I assume that was Steinson. I might be wrong.
No. I think you are right. I do. I just didn't recognise him. But we'd have been crazy not to have some kind of system, Morse code or whatever. It would have been nuts. But I don't know. I'm so happy because all I wanted was Spurs to go through. And when Frankfurt went 2-1 up, I was like, oh, these things don't happen to me. And then it did. I'm genuine. Yeah, sorry. Monday's draw, I really don't care anymore because we're there. We haven't done it convincingly, and there's no doubt about that. But if you can't enjoy tonight, what?
Absolutely. Brilliant. I mean, obviously, as Gov says, Son's injury doesn't look good. That is a bad sign. I thought Lucas looked a bit off it. He's not a central striker. He's not very good at holding the ball up, and he struggled. He won a few headers. Kane looked a bit off it at times, but he did the channels. He did the hard second half, particularly. He did a good job. He was too deep first half, though.
We hear all this about Kane not showing up in big games, but it does tend to be the big games that you remember us losing rather than the big games that we remember us winning. Because we played Arsenal at home at the end of last season. He showed up. It's not as if he never plays well. But again, if we're not attacking, what do you expect Kane to do? This is what I don't get. The first 45 minutes, Kane barely touches the ball. What do you expect? It's going to stick every single time, and he's going to find a runner every single time against three centre halves. We make it so difficult for him, and he plugs away, and he buys cheap free kicks that probably aren't free kicks. He's a godsend to Tottenham Hotspur, and that's why he plays every game. Absolutely, that's why he plays every game, because it is a team first thing for him. As much as he scores goals and he loves to score goals, he wants Spurs to win, and he'll do whatever he's asked to do. I don't understand these people that think that he should be the best player on the pitch every single game, because it's not feasible when the rest of the team is defending.
Yeah, no, I think that's a valid point. I just want to bring up Kane. I generally spend the first half swearing now, and then I can't celebrate our first goal as I'm too mad. I think we all empathise, Kerry. We all get exactly what you're saying.
I think a feasible strategy here might be to have the first half on while you're doing something else, and just pay attention to the second half.
Or just go for a walk. Or just drink more. Maybe James, it could be
do anything. Read a book. Have a drink.
I mean, actually, you could have some more bakery goods, maybe that your good wife would bake for you.
Oh, it would be nice. Yeah.
Daniel, 90% of our creativity comes from Kane and Bentancur. Yeah, I mean it does, because ultimately our wing backs aren't really good enough, are they? That's the problem.
And the rest are set pieces. I mean that's really it. When we got our first corner, Son had already gone off at that point. And I remember thinking, yes, because it meant that Perisic had to take it. He took it with his right foot. I'm like, no. I know you can, but use your good foot, my friend.
I did notice Perisic took an outswinger with his right foot. Rather than, normally we do in-swingers, don't we?
I'm a massive fan of in-swingers. I really am. Every corner should be an in-swinger aimed to land about the 6 yard, penalty spot, a bit between the penalty spot and the 6 yard line. Something like that, because it causes havoc. Any kind of touch can go somewhere. The idea of curling it away from goal just makes no sense to me, apart from maybe you just want to vary things up a little bit. But if you've got someone who can regularly deliver, I mean, the goal we scored at Chelsea right at the end, that was the perfect corner because Kane barely had to touch it and it went in. Yeah. That's something that you can practice and get very good at. And Spurs aren't bad at set pieces. Clearly, we're not bad at set pieces. But you've got to give Longley credit for his goal as well, because it was an absolute, it was a beautiful header. But absolutely, it feels like the only way we're going to score right now. I know we get the odd. I mean, the goal that Sessegnon scored on Saturday was a brilliant goal, a brilliant open play goal. But it was one pass, one touch, and then bottom corner. There wasn't a great deal of those famous Conte automatons that we read about that we always try to do. Like I see every time Kane gets the ball to feet, whereas old Kane might have tried to hold the ball up because he doesn't have the pressure behind him, so he feels comfortable. He's always trying to flick it around the corner to Lucas or to Son straight away. And if that ball's not perfect, we lose it. So I understand. Yes, it would be lovely if we could do it every single time, but we've seen already this season, when we play against three centre-backs, You can't. We can't play that way. We don't do it well. Even when Kulusevski was in the team, we didn't do it that well. I'd love us to show like the composure that we showed in the second half, and we did at various times. We played it comfortably around our side. If we can do that 25 yards further up the pitch, then we're laughing because we can do it. Like when we went 3-5-2, we looked better than the 3-4-3. We did, and then when Sessegnon went off, we looked better again. It's like when you watch these games and you see that these changes equal, a positive outcome. Let's use that positive outcome for the next game. And I feel like we still haven't really figured that one out. It's frustrating.
Yeah, I had a question for you. I've completely forgotten. It was
Sorry.
now. Longley. Oh, that's going to say Longley said second half we decided to be more aggressive. Is that why we can suddenly play out from the back and not be pressed and not look awful playing out from the back? I don't.
To me, it can only be about conserving energy. I can't imagine why you wouldn't. Like, when you play the way that Spurs do, you have to have runners, either from counter-attack situation, or if you've got the ball further up the pitch, you have to run off the ball. And we don't really. Yeah. It's all very side to side, and the easy ball is the Winks ball, back to the centre-backs. So that's what we've been doing. Being aggressive for Spurs means running. Literally. That's what it's turned into now. Because that's all we seem to do. It's like, when we run off the ball, when we make angles, we are good enough to keep the ball, and we can move the ball up the pitch. I think there was one occasion in the second half where we lost it quite high, and we pushed everyone forward to try and win it back, and suddenly Marseille were in. I think it was when Tavares whacked it over the bar. Like, you have to be careful. I understand why we don't want to be doing that all the time, but still, like, we are good enough on the ball. So to me, it's a question that we are basically telling, or the players are being told that first half, keep it tight, second half, go for it. And I don't want to think that that's the truth, but it is the most believable thing. It has to be that.
Yeah, James, I think we probably need to give a bit of credit to Mr. Perisic for that block on from Alexis Sanchez shot really near the end as well. Just incredible coverage. You could see we had 3 or 4 players, didn't we, flying in to block it.
Ben Davies was flying in. Longley was great block from Perisic. Oh, saved our skins, really, didn't they? In fairness, his free kick, well, effectively a cross for Longley's goal as well. Brilliant.
Yeah.
We've been missing from large swathes of the season. So just let him take all of these things, please. But yeah, brilliant defending. That was going in. Had he not blocked that was going in. Really good piece of defending from Perisic there. Ben Davies-esque. The Welsh Maldini.
And it would have been Alexis too. I mean, the one player we really didn't want to score. Like Kolasinac, if he'd done it, that would have been annoying. Don't get me wrong. But Alexis, having come out before the game and said he remembers winning against Spurs, even though he only ever did it once. Like, he scored often against us, but I think he only ever beat us once when he was at Arsenal. And I think when they showed the replay of that chance and they kind of went on his face and he looked pained, he couldn't believe that we'd got in the way. That's what you want to see. And Perisic celebrated as if he was Joe Rodon. I mean, it was amazing. I've done something good. Yes. Only Joe Rodon celebrates defensive blocks, really. I feel like he really gets into it. And Perisic was there.
Have you never watched a Wales game, HG? Any block, we're all like, yeah!
Well, it's part of the game. I mean, you got to love it. Like, Davies did one in the first game against Marseille when he was on the floor, kind of crawling.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a massive part of it. But yeah, I mean, those moments, like Marseille had their chances to get the victory they needed, and that's obviously not good for Spurs. But I'm not thinking like that because we scored a last-minute winner and we're top of the group, and now we can relax for 3 months. That's it.
In almost any game you play, the other team will have chances. I mean, the fact our players are willing to put themselves, their bodies physically in the firing line, let's say, is a good sign. And the fact that, he did block it, we are going to put challenges in, even without one of our, let's say, our best centre-back, Romero, missing. That's good, right? Like, we're able to get the result today because of a brilliant Hojbjerg finish, because of a brilliant Longley header. Those chances happen, but we defended admirably in the second half. We just pretend the first half and that never happened.
And we can strengthen in January. I mean, we've got 3 games now before the World Cup starts, and I think there's maybe 2 or 3 before the window really opens. But like we all look at our squad and think Conte probably doesn't rate Brian, and there's a number of players that are on that bench that might, we might let go. Like I'm sure we might consider selling Sanchez if someone better comes along. Same with Spence will go out on loan almost certainly. So there are going to be spots. But if Kulusevski's back and Richarlison's back, and we get someone who can kind of do what Kulusevski does, a second one of him would be incredible. And even if it's a loan, I would take that, because we need to just, I don't know the English, widen, breadthen. I'm thinking German in my mind. The squad needs to be deeper. It absolutely does, and I think we can do it. There are players out there with 6 months left on their deal, right? Who might think, if Spurs are interested, I'll go there. There'll be a lovely, good club to go to. If I'm not playing at my current club, I've got a Champions League club that are in for me with a world-class manager. You'd be silly not to consider it. I just that result tonight meant so much, because if we're a Europa League side in February, those players may not choose to do it. But even if you get 4 games in the Champions League in the second half of the season, for these players, it's a massive thing. They want to be involved.
Just to come back on your point about how many games we have before the transfer window opens, we've only actually got 1 game, the Boxing Day game at Brentford. Your 3rd, 4th team, HDR lose track.
my nan's team, so I care.
Yeah, and then we play Villa on New Year's Day. So
so
obviously it's not like us to sign anyone before then. I mean, we've got a lot of games in January. We've got 1, 2, 3. We've got 4 league games in January, let alone FA Cup and potential League Cup as well.
And you understand that it's not easy to get players in January. I mean, when Bentancur and Kulusevski came, it was the last few days, right? So the odds of us bringing someone in on January 1st are pretty remote. But the sooner we can, right? Like I don't, for Spurs to spend wages on someone who's not in the squad, we can do that, right? It's okay to do that. And if they know they're not going to be in the squad, then on January 31st, they'll find another club. And maybe Spurs are paying their wages. Fine. I'm okay with that. But we have to be proactive. We have to go out there and make our squad better, because I think we can. I really do.
Yeah, James, thoughts on the squad in January?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the line from certain sports journalists and those types. 2 seconds. There you go. Sorry, I was coughing. I've heard that line from many expert. When let's be honest, they're not experts. Me pissed is probably more of an expert than they are. I don't care that you play for Man U in the 90s. Anyway, okay, January isn't usually a time where you bring in a lot of reinforcements, but last January we brought in Kulusevski and Bentancur, 2 starters. I'm not asking for 2 starting players, right? But there's definitely options out there we can look to bring in. Yeah, definitely a centre back. Even a creative type player, a wing back. Any of those positions. We bring in anyone in any of those positions who could be a starter. That improves the team, right? So, that's definitely an option. Even if it's just someone better off the bench, I'm sure somewhere in Spain there's some 32-year-old bloke who's pretty good off the bench, who we could get for basically nothing, who Conte would trust a bit more than Hill. There's, I don't want that to just be our only piece of business.
Are you describing Eric Lamela?
Well, I don't know. Maybe we should go and get Eric Lamela. I don't know. He'd be a classic Antonio Conte player, wouldn't he? But my point is, if we went and just fixed one of the issues in the squad in January, right? We just said, look, we're really going to focus on this one thing. If we can get an opportunity signing here or there, because it's a decent deal and it's popped up, great. But if we're just going to hyper focus on this area, and if we can get something else done later on, great. If we could just get a more creative player or a proper right wing back, so we can loan Spence out, and maybe Doherty's going to be kicked out later down the line, or even we just look for a centre back because Sanchez is going to be quietly pushed away. or just any of those positions, or a proper Kulusevski cover player, so Richarlison can be actually cover for Son and Kane, right? Any of those positions. We do one in any of those positions. I'd much rather we made one signing that fixes that than do 3 signings that are kind of half-assed measures. I'd rather we just went and said, look, we're going to sign one player this window, and it's going to be James Maddison, for example.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'd much rather we took that approach.
It's interesting. Like when you look at Alexis tonight, I mean, none of us like him because he played for Arsenal, but I think we can all say he's a very good player, and he's been a very good player for 15 years. He's 35, signs for Marseille on a
he's
free.
34 in December.
Okay, right. So
now.
so again, I'm not saying that we should sign Alexis Sanchez, right? Clearly not. But when you see him performing at, Champions League is the highest level, and he was really good tonight as well. Like he turned Longley a couple of times. He knows what he's doing. He really does. Those are the players that can help you be what you want to be. Like I'm not saying get a Llorente because he's something different, but it is like we've got Kane and Richarlison for that side. Like Richarlison can play where Son plays. I get that, but we need someone for the other side. Our right side, weirdly enough, is the weak side. We don't have a wing back, and we don't really have someone that can do what Kulusevski does. So if he's injured, we're screwed. And he's been injured for 6 weeks now, and we've struggled. So for us to get through in the way that we have, knowing full well that in 3 or 4 games, it's possible to improve. Conte will want to improve, and Spurs will want to show that we're willing to back him, even if it is in the hope that he signs a longer-term deal, because that story is never going to go away. But for Spurs, if Paratici's staying long-term, we've got destiny for one side. If we can find the right-footed version of him, we will be laughing. And maybe it's Spence, maybe he needs 6 months at a Premier League team to show that he can do it at that level, because Conte won't give him the opportunity, then fine. But we have to improve that side of the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what Gov wants here, really. Can you work it out?
Gov, are you saying you want a centre-back? That seems like what you're saying.
So, Phil makes a good point. How did Dimitri Payet not get on tonight? You need a goal, and you've got a guy who specialises in long ranges and free kicks. I guess since he's left West Ham, it hasn't really worked for him that well as at HG, but he's still a good player.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's in his 30s, but yeah, like when you need a goal. I mean, the thing is, like Marseille, they like the commentator, and like I know how Eintracht fans felt about it. They would have been happy with Europa League. Like, Spurs fans would have been like, oh, I don't want to do that. Eintracht would have been thrilled with it because they won the competition last year and they've got good memories of it. But for Marseille, at 1-1, they were in the Europa League. And so that maybe there was this idea, like, if we go for it, we could get done, like they ended up doing. But it's a surprising one because, as he said, Payet can score from pretty much anywhere. And you want players like that. Of course you do, on the pitch, even if it is for 10 minutes. But it's worked out perfectly because Eintracht are through, we're through. Marcus Edwards is playing Europa League, and that team of Guna rejects are where they deserve to be. When you sign Guna rejects, this is what happens to you.
Yeah, they're not even in the bloody Conference League. I was dreading Payet coming on because I just bloody knew if Payet came on, the ex-West Ham player, I knew he'd score.
I mean, he's only scored 1 goal this season.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter, does it? You just know he'd score.
And he's 35, actually. Didn't realize he's that old.
Correct.
But still, bit of quality.
Good plan.
Just evening to one of our new Patreons, Nelly. If you want to, I'll put the banner up. If you want to join Patreon, get to speak to us and message. We got all sorts. We got Prediction League and Fancy Football and all different things going on.
Who doesn't fancy having a chat with me? I'm enlightening.
At all times of the day, I think you get James. I mean, last night he woke up to jump in Steve Diver's shoes because Steve had some internet problems. So
you see, I'm James. Available on short notice. I should whack that on my CV. Actually,
there you go.
That will help with the politics degree. Absolutely.
And so, if you want to be a politician, then surely buggering off when you're needed is the thing you need to be doing, not actually showing up and trying to help. But
we see, I'm starting a bit of a counterculture here, actually, HG. So there you go.
A politician who wants to help. I never thought I'd live to see the day.
Yeah, I'm one of a kind, really.
I mean, yeah. His post-match show on Saturday after Jack left him, he started doing a nice wine review for us. So we had, multicultural Jameses.
I
So
went
Daniel's
on
made a good
for
point. A while, but he did well.
yeah.
Daniel's made a good point. It's actually they just rejected Arsenal, not the other way around.
I mean, how many is it? It's like Guendouzi and Kolasinac and the guy who's even on loan from Arsenal and Alexis. 4 or 5 of them. I mean, like they should be called Marsenal, really. But I just
the issue there, HG, is that in the Emirates there's about 20 blokes and a dog, whereas Marseille can usually fill their stadium, although they had one stand empty. So it seems they were doing a Arsenal tribute.
Oh, it was closed.
Don't ruin the joke, Dad. Don't ruin the joke.
Oh, sorry. And there you go. Nelly's saying, great chat in the Patreon tonight, kept him saying. Conte punches every player in the face screaming president. I mean, Conte did say the other day he wanted them to attack more in the first half.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what managers say
strange.
and what they mean. I genuinely.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
I mean, the thing is, I don't want every manager to come out and tell me the whole truth, like completely, like unvarnished. I understand that you have to be, to kind of hide a little bit, but yeah, like when you see them clearly not running, and like, oh well, I wanted them to attack. Really? Then you would drop all of them for not doing what you told them to do, right? They would all get dropped, and you just say, fine. You do a Jose, just blame the players for everything. I'm sure, like at that level, players will know that what managers say in press conferences is just what they say, right? And it may not be the truth. Yeah. It's just to get the attention off the players or onto the players or whatever. But it doesn't have to be true. Conte will tell the players behind closed doors exactly what he thinks and what he wants.
Oh, just saying, Tanguy and Ndombele played 88 minutes at Anfield tonight for Napoli.
It was a dead rubber for them, wasn't it?
It was a dead rubber. I mean, that's quite a long time for him.
Yeah.
Are there
He need to lie down.
Are there photos of him popping into the local KFC after the game?
I mean, but possibly afterwards, yeah.
We have to talk Ndombele up, right? Like we want someone to buy him. The guy's so talented.
I like him.
Yeah, anyone from Napoli watching this Tongi bloke, yeah, he put in a banging performance on my 19th. Definitely wasn't shit. Yeah, you should sign him. Yeah, 50 million. I reckon that's a great deal. Hey, Mark, welcome.
Welcome a new YouTube member, Mark. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
There we go. And our sponsors are here. I'm just going to block them. Sorry. Yeah, Dave actually specifically asked me for the address. I don't know why.
Oh, Dave down bad.
Right. Block user. There we go. Hopefully they'll go away. Oh, your private show is there. Good.
I realize that I would love to know how everyone feels right now, because like clearly you can kind of hopefully get the emotion that I have, but I'm genuinely like it's similar or on the way towards how I felt when Lucas did his thing. I'm genuinely elated about what happened tonight, and I know the difference between second and first is pretty minimal, but like the Hojbjerg's goal, it was like De Bruyne could have hit that. That's the type of goal he scores.
Brilliant finish. The thing is, he's got this, the shot against the bar was a great strike, but the goal, he hit the post at Anfield last season, didn't he, with a really good strike that was out of the blue. And we're like, where did that come from? Because normally he does have a tendency to shank shots. And he's had some side footers, but that goal and the Chelsea goal, really good strikes. Really, really good strikes.
I actually remember him scoring one against Arsenal when he was playing for Southampton. And it was incredible. One of those goals from like 35 yards out that starts outside the post and then bends in to go in the corner. So again, we've got very good players. I genuinely believe that. Like we've got some players that aren't as good, but we've got some players who they do know what's up, and it's here. Like that's the thing with Hojbjerg, especially. Like he's not the fastest. If he was super fast, he'd be playing for a bigger team than Spurs. But the passing is there, the desire is there, the brains. He's got the brains necessary to be a very, very good player for Spurs. And I think there were rumours that we're trying to extend his contract because he'll have 2 years left at the end of this year. We should be doing it because he's 27, like prime of his career. We get him for 3-4 more years, and we'll see where we go. But like Hojbjerg, he's never going to be your glitzy midfielder, but he's effective, and he's proven that this season.
Yeah, I think he's proved a lot of doubters wrong, hasn't he? People didn't think he was that good, but it's been said many times. Jose rinsed him. He played so many games, and even Conte doesn't give him a break generally, does he? He just because they relies on him so heavily. Gov, what's this coming up? There we go. Happy through. Tired of seeing 5-4-1 without coordinated press. That is the problem. Bentancur seems to press.
Yeah.
Kane does sometimes. Son, I don't know what's gone with. I mean, it looks like Son might be out for a while from what we're hearing, and actually may not be the worst thing. He could probably do with a bit of a rest. Sad for him if he does miss the World Cup.
Yeah, and because it's probably going to be, I'm going to say it might be his last. Like if he's 34 and still kicking around, he'll be in that South Korea squad, in 4 years' time.
Yeah,
but yeah, like that, he's their main man. I mean, can you imagine? Like, I mean, England has never had anyone like that really. That he's a world superstar at a sport that is popular, but like they've never had someone at his level. It would be horrific if, and again, it was nothing. Right, like he's tried to head the ball and the guy's shoulders come in and he's not tried to hurt him. It's just a collision, happens all the time. But yeah, if it's affected his sight, I mean that's horrific.
Son for Korea is reminiscent of what Bale was for Wales in 2016. I don't think it's quite as bad for Wales now. I think it's a deeper squad, but it is I'm sure if you'd said a couple of weeks before the Euros in 2016, Bale's going to miss that. There'd be hysteria in Cardiff.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's face it, Bale's going to struggle to play 90 minutes in the World Cup because he's not played. He gets 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here for Los Angeles.
Well,
and it's quite worrying.
You say that, but then he hadn't played for months, and then he went and played the Austria and Ukraine games. So...
Yeah, I mean he's not the player he was, but he's still a good player. And if Wales can get the likes of Ramsey playing with him, because they've got a very good link.
And Brennan Johnson and Kiefer Moore, who scored twice against us. So Wales.
You'll be out by the time you play England.
Come
winning.
On. Hang on, is Davo speaking to you, HG?
I was going to say, what's your name, Davo?
No, we're winning the World Cup. We're winning the World Cup.
But you might be out.
We're winning the World Cup.
Nelly has said, thought Bissouma had a decent game tonight, especially in the second half when he can press high. But yeah, I think he picks the ball up. He recycles the ball, doesn't he? Well, he just gave us, and it allowed Hojbjerg and Bentancur particularly to get forward more. And that is the difference he does make.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wanted a 3-5-2 tonight. I really did. Because it just, the first game against Marseille, they outnumbered us in midfield. And early doors, like Harit, I think it was his name, was a threat early on in tonight's game. And you're just thinking like, and Veretout as your left midfield, kind of, they had a lot of midfield passes in that team, and we struggled. And when Bissouma came on, we were better. Like the injury to Son is awful, but Spurs got stronger. I thought we were going to bring on Royal at that point. I really did. I didn't think we'd go 3-5-2. But it really has worked out. I just want Spurs to learn from these moments when the team improves. We weren't playing well, but we were better. We looked stronger once Bissouma came on.
Daniel, that's going to be after the World Cup because they've asked FIFA to be able to do it after the World Cup. Don't know why.
I mean, Daniel, if you fancy a rendition of Yammer Heed sung by me, you're more than welcome to request it.
We'll save that for the World Cup, James.
A
bit like I still love Bissouma. We've not seen his best. Absolutely, we have not seen his best. There's a lot more to come. I think the way the Conte plays, he's always going to be a bit restricted. And I think whenever we have a different manager in the future, I actually think we'll see even more from Bissouma in the 2-3 years' time.
No, different. No, I'm not considering that. Like Conte's
it's going to happen at some point.
No, I know, but I just like Conte is linked with Kane. I mean, we've said that. Lots of people think that. I believe it. Like, if Kane decides to stay, then Conte will stay a bit longer. And right now, their contracts run out at the same time because we can extend the Conte deal until then. So yeah, like if Kane decides, then Conte might say, okay. I mean, I understand it. Like if I'm Conte, like the report came out today about how the project is more important to him than the money, and he's earning less at Spurs than he did at Inter at Chelsea. Like it's ridiculous, but I can believe it. He doesn't need extra money. He doesn't need an extra 40 million over 3 years. What he wants to do is win, and if Spurs can give him that's the main part. Get out of bed as a football manager when you're at the level he is. If you don't think you can win, he doesn't need the money. He's not trying to improve his career and get to the next level. In his eyes, he's done it all, right? And I can believe it. He's not many managers go and win 2 different countries' league titles. It's not an easy thing to do. So
absolutely, yeah. Gov thinks he'll extend.
Obviously, Gov's been wrong before. But
the club can invoke the extension themselves. It's up to he said it's on the club side, so there's no hurry to do that. It's not like anybody else is sniffing around Conte at the moment, and he'll want to go. He's got a good relationship with Paratici, obviously.
Yeah. So
again, we'll see what happens in January. But we heard he was going to leave in January last year. Then he was going to leave in the summer, and he's still here, and he's not making noise that he's unhappy that we can see, and we know he tends to make noise, doesn't he? Yeah. So we'll see.
There's a lot of hot air with Conte. I mean,
he's very emotional
as well, right? I mean, exactly. It's weird to see him like in the last game, and also tonight. Obviously, tonight being in the stands, he couldn't really get het up, but he's been quite calm in the last few games. And like when we scored the winner at Bournemouth, he walks off down the tunnel, like he's not going crazy like he did early on.
Well, no, but that was because he was worried about VAR again. He said he said I had to remove myself until I knew the goal was given.
No, sod that. I don't care. I'll celebrate. Like, I mean, when Kane's goal went in, I thought it's questionable, but I didn't think that against Bentancur, and I didn't think it tonight. So I'm all right. Like, I understand this is going to happen. It doesn't ruin it to me. But I guess that when you're watching at home on TV, you get a better idea of where people are. Whereas in the stand, you're just watching the ball in many cases, especially if it's close to goal.
I'll tell you a funny story, actually. So a couple of my mates who I met on the first couple of days at uni, including one of my friends, Holly, we all went to the pub, and we all sat down having a drink in the pub, right? Yeah. And they all said, the first impression I got of you was you were someone who was really into their music, loved to drink, obviously, that sort of thing. Wouldn't have guessed you liked football. And then my mate Sam, because I went to the pub with him to watch the Sporting game, and he posted a video to this group chat we're all in of me celebrating the first goal and the second goal. And everyone was like, wait, what the fuck? You like football? And everyone was like, it was this huge realization for them that this guy who they had these complete perceptions of this Baroque Gothic guy who drinks a lot, right? And reads a lot of books because I'm a uni student. Yeah, this bloke's a massive football fan. And then one of them, after the Sporting game, I did the post-match review. Yeah, one of them came on to watch it, and they found the fact that I was very annoyed about it very funny. So there you go. Cheers for that, guys.
Absolutely. Football fans, there's your stereotypical football fan, but we all are different people. We obviously, HG's very well travelled and very learned, speaks 952 different languages.
Very learned.
He's on Duolingo every day, doing something different, isn't he?
Yeah, the streak is over 200. But the point being is that I hang out with kids every day at work. So like 10 to 14.
That sounds wrong.
Don't say you hang out with kids, HG.
It's like I am used to being the adult in the room. Can I put it like that? But it's yeah. I know.
Still doesn't sound better, HG.
Not like
I know what you mean.
Stop
HG's a teacher, for those who don't know.
So then he says Martin Samuel's written in the Martin Samuel, who is a West Ham fan, I'll point out. Wires in the mail tonight. Wires? Is this the 1920s? Tottenham are through, but the question remains: how good might they be if they ever decide to play both halves of football? We are still third in the Premier League, which is extraordinary because I swear we've been terrible half the season.
I bet that was difficult for him to write. Like this idea, because Martin Samuel's never liked Spurs, even regardless of the West Ham thing. He doesn't want to praise us. But yeah, like third in the league, top of the group, we haven't done it. We never make it easy for ourselves, but we all have taken this. We absolutely would have taken this at the start of the year, considering that we're down basically to, what, 2 attackers in 3 people, because we've got Kane and then Lucas and Brian, who are basically half an attacker each. It's not like without Richarlison, without Kulusevski, we are clearly weaker going forward than we want to be, and yet we're getting those results. So I'm just the learned man is thrilled. I'm all right.
The learned man. Would you like me?
Man.
Would you like me to quote the first Roman emperor Octavian? He, my son, referring to Cicero, was a truly learned man. There you go.
Oh, well, there you go.
I don't think I am. I just hang out with people who aren't.
Oh, you and me as well, mate. Don't worry about it.
I sell beer to students to dumb them to my level,
Yeah, there you go. I didn't mean
right,
you guys.
We've been going just over an hour. It's a great night. I'm absolutely shattered, and I've got a very long day tomorrow. James has probably got a pub to go to. HG, it's gone midnight in Austria now, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
but I've got no work until Monday. So
hey!
Oh, you're half term, aren't you?
HG, do you want to come out with me then? Go, hit the
Portsmouth. Oh, yeah, we put some washing up liquid in the fountain.
Oh, but you'd love it. It'd be great.
So thanks for everyone for watching. Please do give us a like. And Call will be back on Friday we've got Matt the Sussex Hotspur. Craig is here, and I can't remember who the other person is off the top of my head.
Someone good. Someone good.
It's someone good.
Tremendous.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so thanks for joining me, James.
Lovely to be here as ever, Father. I'm feeling great after that win, and I'm going to go to a club now. So.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I mean, this is literally the only time we talk is on this meeting.
Okay. Well, at the times you're usually awake, I'm not usually awake. Or if you are awake, you're working, and I'm in the club busy. Yeah, that's true. Don't worry, I'll see you at Christmas.
Good. Thanks for joining us, HG.
You're welcome. Every time we win, every time we get a last-minute winner, I will be here. What a night. What a brilliant night.
Happy days. And I'm going to say, come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you fucking Spurs.